Hello guys, welcome back to SSA Performance. Today we've got a 1999 Toyota Glanza. It's in for a TDR4 upgrade because he does have a CT9 manifold, just a standard one. We've already fitted a year ago a front mount intercooler. It's got an e-manage blue, which we recommended. So we've got a GFB Boost controller, and also we've got a fuel pump. Maybe we've got to check it to check if there's an upgraded fuel pump, as he's been told he may have one in there. So we're going to just double check that before we put it on the dyno without having any issues. It will have standard injectors in, but we'll see if we come across any faults on the dyno with them in case I max out quite early. It's got a tile wastegate, so that's why we're using the GFB Boost controller. That's pretty much it. It won't be that hard to do because it's already got the front mount, everything already bolted on. We just got to fabricate some boost pipes just to fit to the TDR4 so we can get some boost. And we should see around about 220 brake, 210, just safely, because obviously it's a daily driver for him. And we don't like CT9s, so that's why we're taking this off, so we can get some more boost. So, I've already disconnected some stuff. I've disconnected the oil feet line, oil pipe as well, and I just disconnected the alternator, because on these CT9s, you got the 4 bolts at the top and one under the downpipe. They're quite easy to get to. But on this one, there's a bolt at the back of the turbo where you cannot get anything in it, so you have to take the alternator off to crack it and use a 14mm ratchet ring spanner, and it should come off piece of piss. I've also got to disconnect the coolant lines to the turbo, and that's pretty much it. And I've already disconnected the O2, the original sensor. We will be using that when we use the TDR4 kit, because it can go wideband to read AFR. What else has been disconnected? The exhaust has been disconnected from the downpipe, the vacuum lines for the CT9 turbo, because as you can see, we're going to have to take that all off because there's no need for it now. So I'm going to just disconnect the manifold, and then I'm going to clean up the surface and prep it all for the TDR4 kit to get bolted on. So there's a change of plan with getting the turbo kit off. The reason why I'm holding the heat shield, because there's a 14mm nut behind the turbo, and we sprayed WD down there, just getting the longest spanner. This is the only spanner I can get a ratchet ring one, because my Blue Point one's 14, it's just hitting the chassis leg, and we don't want to scratch his car. So the only way we could do this now, I've took off the wastegate with a smack the pin off. So the wastegate is completely off as I'm holding it in my hand. I had to take some vacuum lines off the turbo, and the one that's going onto the timing end, as you can see. Well, all the vacuum lines as well on the timing end we had to unplug. So now the only way I can think doing this is taking off the 10mm for the clamp to hold the turbo into the housing. And if I take that clamp out, I should be able to get enough room to pull it out, hopefully, and get access to that 14mm. The only way I'm thinking might give an issue is that the oil filter housing might get a little bit stuck on the toe. I don't know until we actually take off. Never done it this way before, because normally they're so easy to crack. So obviously it's been on here for about 20 years.
And the rest.
Yeah.
What plate this is a T reg, so it's what,
99
reg, yeah.
So it's been on there for about 25 years. So and hopefully we do get access to that 14mm bolt, and then
I'm saying there's no point showing the camera. So basically on the manifold there's a bolt right up there that they normally can just spin off, but this one does not want to come off. So he's going to take the turbo cartridge and the cold side off the actual turbo manifold and the exhaust housing to hopefully give access to that little bolt at the back.
So I could show you on this manifold what we're actually putting on. So this one's got a lot more showing. So this clamp here, what holds the turbo into the hot side. So when we undo that, we should be able to wiggle it off realistically, but we're not going to do that. We will have to smack it off because it will be seized on. The guy's not reusing this turbo kit. We're going to try and save it much as possible, because the only way we could actually take this off is take the head off, really. Because if you take the head off, we've got to put a new head gasket on, new bolts, because they're not reusable. So there'll be a lot more
money, a lot more labour.
Money and a lot more labour in doing this job.
And since he's replacing the whole turbo kit with a TD04, it's not really a big deal if we do some damage to this CT9. I mean, they're not worth a lot anyway, but because
we don't really want to do damage to it, because you might want to sell it, but we're going to try our best to save this turbo kit. So that's the only way we can do it, because we have took a lot of CT9s off before, and them always seized in, because I'm that old, into the turbo, and they never been come off before. So hopefully we can get it off. But no issues. So I might think the oil filter housing might get trapped. So
we'll find out.
We'll find out when we start doing the job. So I'm holding it in my hand. So if we point the camera up there, we've got access to the bolt.
That boy.
Yeah. So
normally, guys, when you separate a CT9 cartridge, this is really brittle.
Let's get a torch up there.
There you go. So when you normally try and separate the cartridge from a CT9, this housing is super brittle. So the minute you get a hammer or a screwdriver or even a pry bar in there and try and smack it,
it breaks.
This literally just chips off like it's hardened metal. And in this case, it's come out.
I'm very happy, because normally these are a nightmare to get off, and this one come off a piece of piss, really. Didn't take that long.
There's no marks or anything.
There ain't no marks, but there might be a little bit of marks on the housing part. That's the only way we could get it off without breaking the complete turbo kit.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy we got it off without really damaging it. It's only a slight bit of nick, but it's still usable.
That's the damage it's taken to get it out. Just that little bit there, but that's not
we
going to
actually
affect
used a
it.
screwdriver and pried it in, because that's the only way we could get it in, and it didn't damage any of the turbo where it sits into the hot side.
Nope.
So the only thing what was stuck on it was the coolant lines, and they come a piece of piss when I start moving them. So I'm very, very happy that they come apart. So now we can get access to this 14 and see how hard it is to crack, because that spanner, I'm rocking the whole car on the ramp, and then I don't want to do that. So this is the only way I can do it without getting anything damaged. So we can get this 14 out, and then we can send it back up, and we can get the top one out, what's holding all the turbo on, and then we can get this turbo complete off, and then we can work onto the gearbox side.
Wonderful.
So finally cracked it. I struggled with a fucking, this is a big 3/8 ratchet, as you can see. Let me take it off. It's a big one. This is how long it is, and I struggled cracking with that. That's how tight this bloody nut onto his head. So obviously, if it has been taken apart before, I'm like, who the hell is tightening this up? I'm surprised it's not cracked the head. We can tighten, because you put them too tight, they can crack the heads.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy it's come off. There we go.
And that was the little bastard that was causing us all the problems.
So it's the first time I ever have to do this part. Never had no issues with this before.
But she's out now.
Bushes out, so we're going to set it down and then take the 14 off the top. Then we should be able to get the turbo kit off, really. So I'll get back to you when the turbo kit's off.
Bosh.
So the turbo kit's prepared to come off now. The last nuts has come off. And we should be able to give it a little pull. And it should pop off. There we have one CT9 out. And now we can start working on the gearbox side now. So we've got to take the boost pipes off, all the wires and all. We might as well take the battery off for more access. So we can get off the earth wires. We've got the gear linkages, you name it, we got to do. So had to cut one cable tie off because it was holding the O2 sensor as well. It's all nice and neat, this engine bay. I had to cut a lot of cable ties. So we've got a brand new stage 3 competition clutch. This one has been bought from our website. So in the kit, as you remember from the last video of the clutch replacement, so the kit comes with, as you know, comes with the pressure plate. It comes with a release bearing and the tool to line up the clutch. So you just slot that in, and it works no problem. And you have the clutch itself. This is a stage 3, isn't it?
I thought it was stage 4.
Is this stage 3?
I thought it was stage 4.
So,
I was going to say that earlier, but I didn't want to.
yeah.
Stage 4, isn't it?
Oh, stage 4 then. It looks like a stage 4. Oh, must have had one left in stock. So, I need to update the website then. Yes, a stage 4. I didn't know Sean could get one because we ran out of stock. So, as you can see, it's a stage 4 and there's the part number. So, stage 4, 6-pedal clutch. So, you can't really tell because it says stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 until you read the part number.
These are the ones, I've got this in my own personal car, and it's very drivable. It's not like an on-off switch, whereas the stage 3 is very heavy in comparison.
So on stage 4 you can let go. Stage 3 is like
instantly off, yeah.
Yeah. It's a nightmare to get used to. So
that's why we prefer to give these to customers the stage 4, just because they're a lot more drivable. And they're not so much track orientated, whereas a stage 3 it's not going to be fun driving through.
Pretty sure the stage 3 are more expensive as well.
They're £40 more, but you just won't want to drive a stage 3 round your local town or village stuck in traffic at 8:45 in the morning. You'll just keep stalling it.
Yeah, I don't understand why the stage 4 are more cheaper than a stage 3. You would have thought because stage 4 is a better clutch really. So it's just I don't know why the stage 3 is more expensive. So now we're going to take all the stuff I've already said. We've got the clutch slave cylinder, which is going to be a lot easier access to get to now.
But with no turbo kit, yeah.
And them always a nightmare to put on with a turbo kit in the way. So normally I can just slot them in, but now past a couple of weeks I'm having nightmare putting them on. So let's get ready the top work all off, and then we should be able to get this clutch out in like about 20 minutes. So the box is now out. There's no play in the shaft at all. It's in really good condition, the box is. We've took the clutch off, it's okay in condition, but we noticed some weepage on the rear main seal, so we just took that out. Well, Sean took it out and we should replace with a new one.
Do you want to mention why we've not taken out the plate that holds the seal in rather than just the seal coming out?
Normally we do take the plate off because main seal, but we're placing a new one, so Sean took it out with a tap where you drill it without getting damaged. We checked the surface, nothing's got damage, and then Sean's going to just slot the new one in, put it all back together with a stage 4 competition clutch, and then that's the gearbox side. We took the hard part off. Well, that was the hard part off the turbo kit, as you mentioned about the 14mm triple like
A right faff.
right faff, and then
But this has saved us some time, hasn't it?
and then all we got to do is put the gearbox back together and just fabricate some boost pipes up to the TDR4, because obviously to go around the 9-degree bend now into the.
Whereas the CT9 sort of comes level and then goes up and around and in.
Onto the
TDO4's on the bottom.
So the stage 4 clutch is now on. It's all been taught to spec. And now Reese is putting the rear, just putting the release bearing on, just putting a bit of copper grease on. Yeah, but too much.
No.
So there's a ball on here, as you can see, where it slides into the fork.
Yeah.
And then you put a little bit of copper grease behind the fork, where it slides into the.
There's a retaining clip that holds it all in.
And you just put a little bit of copper grease on here, nothing else.
Well, no, you do. You this edge here.
Slight.
Yeah, that's the edge that catches the pressure plate. So when the bearing comes in, this is what touches the pressure plate. So you just want to put a thin, very, very thin film on, just to give it.
This will not mess up the clutch or anything.
No.
It's just
And get some in there as well. This is where it attaches to the fork, and then you simply grab this boy like that, clip her in,
and then
just that, so it goes on the bearing itself, and then you'll hear a pop,
like that,
and it's on.
and that's the release bearing on.
Done.
So now we're gonna get everything ready for the gearbox to bolt in, and then we should be able to get this gearbox sliding. So the box is ready to go in now. Lift the front end up. Yeah.
And she's on.
Put it down.
That was probably the quickest Starlet box has ever gone on. 15 seconds. And she's all good.
And also, we've got to change.
There you are. So the dowels, there's one there, one on the other side.
So we got a little bit of a problem. Reese is just checking all the bolts are tight. We put this dry shaft back together, but we're just leaving this one here for now because I thought we had the right dry shaft seal. So this part number is wrong. It's the wrong one. It's the near side one. We need the offside one. So this one is the completely wrong seal. So I've just contacted one of my mates who works at Toyota. He's going to try and sort us out ASAP, and he's normally good with it. So we can try and get a dry shaft seal ASAP, because this needs doing before putting it on the dyno. Because also we got to put the turbo kit back together, so there's no really rush, but there is a rush to get it in time for a dyno session. So all of the gearboxes all tight, everything's. Well, we just got to do the top work, but there's no point doing the top work to the turbo kits on, because we might have a little bit of issues, you don't know, along the way. So it's a little bit of a bummer what's just happened. So I'll get back to you when we start working on the top work and turbo kit, etc.
So just put the camera down, you can probably see my hand doing it. So bring it here, there you go. So you've got no side to side, which is allowed, and then back and forth.
Yeah, so this, we didn't check the turbo kit. There's just not really much
point. We haven't supplied this, by the way.
Yeah, we haven't supplied it. You've got off someone, I don't know. So this turbo is completely worn out, and we are fitting it still because it needs to be running, but we have told the customer, but he's at holiday at the moment, so we can't really get in contact with him. So we're gonna fit the turbo kit anyway. It's really easy to change anyway. Just take this 10mm off the clip, pull out, put a new one in, bang.
Literally the same way you saw us take out the CT9 is how you take these out. Just undo the V-clamp.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Pop it off. So when we get a hold of the customer, hopefully he gives us the go-ahead to swap the core or the cartridge out. If not, it's going to either smoke quite badly because the seals are worn down, which is why it makes that noise and moves that much. So it'll either smoke like fuck, or it will not boost properly. One of the two things will happen. So we will have to have it replaced anyway, but for now, we can get away with just fitting it and starting it, running the car in, and then obviously the customer will have to decide what he wants to do.
So as you can see, Reese is just putting the manifold studs on, just on a bit by hand, so the manifold doesn't fall off. Just threading them.
So they don't come back off.
Yep, so we can actually tackle with this wastegate now. So the bolts just come loose, and now we should be able to get a flat edge just to pull it in there. It ain't going to damage the new clip or anything, so we should be able to get just a little flathead, and then we should be able to get another one. Just hit it by hand like that, and that's how you get the clamp. And now just be careful, because it might be a fire ring, that's what they're called, into the wastegate, as you can see. Yep. So now we should be able to, if you hold the camera, we're going to try and make this fit now somehow, because the wastegate's a bit bummer. So the only way you can really do this is modify a screamer pipe, because
try and spin it round the other way where it originally was.
Yeah,
put it where it originally was.
It's just hitting the coolant line.
So we'll go from there.
Hose, sorry.
Can we spin it anymore?
No.
And that will definitely get hot and burn.
Yeah, I've never seen this before. I've had issues with manifolds. The only way I could suggest is the screamer pipe needs modifying, because if we could have it here, we could have the screamer pipe pointing downwards, and obviously you can see the screamer pipe is just dangling this way.
This will be one of the. It's be another thing we'll have to speak to the customer about. Obviously, we're gonna have to modify something to make his new manifold fit. I don't think he'll have any problems with it, but we like to get permission first before we just start chopping. So I think for now we'll leave the screamer pipe and the wastegate off.
Well, we'll put the wastegate on, and we can still map it without the screamer pipe. That's just for, obviously, screamer pipe needs to go on, but you can still map it without no pipe. So we're going to undo the pipe now. We're going to just clamp this together, and because obviously we're not having that touching that current hose, because we're not having that burst open, especially when the customer takes it back and it burst open on him, and we already knew that was going to happen. So this is going to get obviously modified. We have a welder, so we can actually make it to work. So I'm going to just undo the clamp, as we'll just use the 3/16 Allen key and the 8mm. We'll undo that, and then we should be able to make sure the fire ring is seated properly before putting it in, and it should just slide in like that, and we should be able to clamp it and just leave the wastegate like that for now, before we get reassurance off the customer before we're doing the job. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do now, just swap that all over, and then we can start putting the turbo kit back together. So there we have it, the tile wastegate to be cocked to this way now. So we're just going to just tighten that up, and we're going to carry on and do the turbo kit. So it's been about a couple of days now. We had to do some extra bits to it. So Sean's widened the E-Manage blue. We put a fuel pressure reg on it, and also we had to fix some lines to the fuel pressure reg, fit some braided lines to all the calipers. So he brought a kit. It's the heel. Is it heel?
Hey, I'll just call it HEL or Hell. Okay. Hell braided lines. He's bought a full braided kit.
And also we have changed the rear discs as well. With rear pads. So it's got brand new discs and pads, and the calipers actually went back by its own. Normally, then the power to those rear calipers are quite weak. They're always seized up all the time. But this one's actually been off after. So it's done. We're doing both sides, and when we do change the core, it's coming down. It might be coming today or tomorrow. We don't know yet. We will change the gasket on the downpipe as well, because while we're at it, might as well change it, because we know there's a blow there. We know that when we've replaced with brand new gasket at the top, where it meets to the head, and then we put some gasket sealer, what we always use on the downpipe to the exhaust, and it never leaks. So never had any issues with that. So we know it's not them two, and we double checked all the manifold bolts to the head. They are tight, but you don't want them too tight, because you don't want to crack the head at the top where the weak points are.
Let me show you. This is the intake side, obviously, but for reference, pretend this is the exhaust side.
This side here, I've actually got a head in the scrap. Well, it's not scrap, but it's replacing. Where my finger is pointing, there's supposed to be obviously a stud where it is. This is the weak point of the heads. We've replaced this head for customer. We didn't snap this one. It come in with a blow on the head, and when we took it off, it cracked there. So it is a weak point on these heads. It's too tight on there. You don't want to tighten them too tight, because that's what could happen. So obviously, because it's too tight and how much pressure is going for the system. That's pretty much of this car so far. We'll probably get back to you in a couple of days when we do change the core on the turbo, and then we can start to map it. So,
and you'll definitely see that video, guys. That'll be the dyno run and the tuning session when it's done.
Yeah, and it should make around about 220.
That's the aim. It's hard to tell right now, because there's so many variables, like if the injectors haven't been like refurbed.
We are putting some refurb injectors in as well.
Yeah, Sean likes to do that just for insurance on the dyno. There's nothing worse than having a car set up for the dyno, and then a problem occurs that hasn't occurred before. Yeah, always happens to us. Sean will be mapping a car, the customer will bring it down, it'll have bog standard injectors in, and because they're 20 plus years old, they haven't been flow tested, they're uneven spread, and it ruins the map, or it makes it a lot more difficult to map. So for insurance and for the sake of it being easier, Sean's going to refurb some injectors and pop them in this car when it does come to map it.
In stock at the moment, but we like to keep them for dynos, as we always have issues with them. So
That's it, isn't it? We'll get back to you guys when we fit the new turbo. Yeah?
it's in a couple of days. So it's been a couple of days now. The turbo officially back from the guys where we always get done by. We did have to clock the turbo because they clocked it the wrong way around, because this was sitting this way, which it's supposed to be sitting here, because obviously that's where it's supposed to feed from. So they just done it the wrong way around. We just easy 2-minute job for us. So that's what it looks like. The core. I'm going to take my gloves off and just show you, because obviously I've got clean hands. No binding, no up and down movement like the old one. Remember, I'll insert a clip now. So as you saw that clip, it just moves up and down, which makes, well, it's not supposed to. You're supposed to have a side-to-side movement a little bit.
Yeah. In journal
Yep.
journal bearing turbos, if there's any side-to-side play.
So Sean's doing his last pull now. We've had a little bit of issues on the dyno, but it's all good now. Sean's managed to sort it out. It's made 193 brake. It's all good.
Not 193?
193. Now it's just made 218. Where the customer wants it safer, Sean's going to do one more pull now, and that's it of the tuning session. I didn't want to record too much because I'm trying to do other things at once as well. It's a bit awkward and we're quite busy this year. So it's the last run now. Just let it cool down, even though it's not hot the engine, because that fan keeps it all warm. Just let it cool down, it does get more power out for some reason. Might make about 220 now, 219. Here we go. That's a good number, 222. So that line is the AFR line. So it's reading 11s. As you can see, you've got 1.1 there on the number. 1.1, 1.2. So it's in the 11s. So it's all good. All good. So it's like moving up and down because it's gone 1.2, 1.1. You know what I mean? That's a bang on AFR. That's why we like it. And it's made really, really good flow wheel power and torque. It's safe. This engine's going to be good. It's a nice reliable power, nice power graph, and a nice power. That's really power. So we're really happy with that. So I'm Sean's going to take it for a road test before the customer comes to collect it. So I'll get back to you when we got the car off the dyno. So that's the end of the video now, guys. If you guys like this video, make sure you drop a like and comment down below. Any questions, free to ask. And link in the description for our website, or top right of the screen, www.ssaperformance.com. And also subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Matrix catch.